Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. My name is James Pfaff, and I'm here to warn you that your sons may have just contracted the next pandemic to cross this nation.
My stars, could it be?
Yes, it could. Has your son been talking nonstop about his twig? And worse yet, have him and his friends been talking about how they have dirty dangles? If any of these are true, your sons might just have caught the dreaded bug plaguing many spoiled, respected, douchey men across this nation. Laxbroitis.
Oh God, no! All of those are true.
All right. Enough of that. All kidding aside, I'm sure when I utter the word lacrosse, you all think of guys who look like this, and of parents who bought them stuff like that for nothing. But I'm going to explain to you here today that while some of these stereotypes have some truth to them, at least one place it's not true. That's not my old school, Marquette University High School. I played for the lacrosse team for 4 years. I played for the Hilltoppers as on the JV team, varsity team, and as well as on the freshman team. And from the outside, we might have looked like bumbling fools with our own weird language where we had ski to the end of every word and call each other broski all the time. But in reality, that community developed in me and my teammates a brotherhood and characteristics that changed our lives for the better to a level that I haven't seen in any other program. And that is why today I'll be teaching you about the community of lacrosse. Now, first to understand lacrosse players and their community, you must first delve into their most unique trait, their language. And just like the Candy Girls in Carmen Kennard's article, Lax Bros start off by describing none other than their style. So here's some lacrosse terms for that. The first thing you notice in a lacrosse player isn't his shoes, his t-shirt, or his hat. Nope, it's his hair. Or more precisely, his ungodly amount of it. A lacrosse player's mane is the quickest and easiest way to determine a lax bro from your average Joe. In lacrosse, this epic amount of hair is important in the back because it's the only real thing to distinguish you on the field when your helmet's on. It being such a crucial part of the community, it has numerous terms to describe it, such as lettuce, cabbage, flo, and cheddar. Now, the style of a lax bro doesn't end once you enter the field. There are certain distinguishers of the way one wears their equipment, or more so, their helmet, that shows a lax bro whether or not you are really one of them. Our buddy on the right here is definitely a faker. And do you know why? He has absolutely no tilt. Tilt is what lacrosse players call the level that your helmet is tilted over your face. The less of your eyes your opponents can see, the better. So unlike most sports, where if your opponent looks you in the eyes, you should be scared, in lacrosse, if your opponent can look you in the eyes, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Now, I could spend all day listing off various different words lacrosse players use to describe the game they like face dodge, spin move, swim move, toe drag, Gavin drag, an ice pick, a rusty gate, or, of course, the favorite, dirty dangles. But really, you only need to know one word and one move. And that is the best part, the best shot, and most beautiful part of the game. That is the best shot, bar down ski. A bar down ski is when you take a shot from at least 3 meters from the goal and it's headed straight towards the top of the bar. Once it hits the bar, it will then ricochet into a very specific area of the goal, as can be seen shaded here. This specific area is known to many as top shelf, but at Marquette it was called top cheddar. This shot is famous for its loud ding that it makes after hitting the bar. The reason why this is the most beautiful shot is the loud ding and the beautiful entry into the specific area that is known as top shelf. This is bar down ski, and its word, as well as top shelf, is used by many lacrosse players to describe things both in and outside of the sport. Alright, enough of this overly specific lax language. Let me explain the 4 main types of lax bro. To start, there are the deep holes. They get their name from their long defensive sticks, and the fact that they themselves, defenders. They're typically about 6 feet plus, and absolute behemoths of men. Don't mess with them or their goalie, because they will mess you up. Next, there is the midi, the lean, mean, fighting machine. They are the renaissance men of the sport, because they must play both offensive and defensive positions. They are also known for their ability to do transition balls, so they must be quick runners and typically do cross country as well. Then there is the attackman, also known as the attack. These men are typically shorter, but absolutely yoked in their upper body, so they can whip some powerful shots. These are the men that gets the guts and glory, because they put the points on the board for the team. And 9 times out of 10, they're also the funny guys of the team and the loudest on the sideline. Finally, there are the special forces. These are the goalie, who is the unofficial dad of the team, and almost always an absolute unit. You're lucky if you can get a single shot past a good goalie. Then there's the FOGO, which stands for face off, go off. They get next to no playing time thanks to the only time they get to go in is for face off, which is after every goal or half. They truly are team players. They don't get any shots, they don't get any big hits. They're there for the love of the game and the love of their team. Both these players are the unsung heroes of the sport who get no glory and only blame when they make a mistake. That's why they have earned the greatest respect of every lacrosse player. Alright, enough of that talk on language. Now we're going to talk about the lacrosse field. The lacrosse field is very similar to a soccer and football field, about similar size as well. It has 2 goals on either side, one with each with a goalie in it from the opposing teams. Then you have the center field, which is where face-offs take place after every single goal, as can be seen here. You also have the sub box and both sidelines, one for Team 1 and the other for Team 2. We're now going to zoom in on Team 1, treating it as Marquette sideline to see the hierarchy displayed there. Now, when zooming in on the sub box, you have to remember that in this space you both have the players, coaches, as well as trainers. So there is a hierarchy present that most don't realize. First, you have over here in the sub/penalty box. This is where players will go in that soon have to play, as well as players with penalties. Every player, when going in, always make sure to check in on those with injuries or penalties to make sure they're doing fine. Then you have the coaches, who are also always present in the penalty box. Then you have a line. This line has every single player of the team always behind it. It's a sign of respect for the coaches. They can walk out in front and talk to you. The first group seen is the middies. These middies are first because they are always the next ones to get in. Then you have the defense. The D-poles are frequently injured, therefore they should always be after the middies. Then you have the attack. The attack are the least likely to get injured and the least likely to be subbed in. Therefore, they are second to last. Then they're always followed by special forces. Special forces are the most unique positions and therefore the least likely to sub in. Now, the most crucial part I want you to see here is the bench captain. The bench captain is the unit that keeps this whole sideline coherent. He makes sure the middies in the right spot, the D-poles in the right spot, the attacks in the right spot, and make sure that special forces doesn't feel left out. He's the man that's creating every single cheer, creating every single play on the sideline, and making sure that everyone is having a great time and staying focused. This bench captain is the key to Marquette players beat intellectuals. Now, how is it that the bench captain can prove that Marquette high school lacrosse players can beat intellectual, or an organic intellectual at that? Well, for that, I have to describe what an organic intellectual is. As we all talked about with Gramsci, an organic intellectual is someone that is formed and is the counter of a traditional intellectual. It is someone that has passions, ideas, and skills that are not seen necessary or intellectual by the common sense, but still display a necessity in our society. Another crucial thing for us to remember is to go back to our map. Is the bench captain on the field? Is he making the points? Is he getting the fans? No. He's in the sideline with his team. He's raising the spirits of the special forces, the unsung heroes of the team. He's making sure the middies, the attackmen, and the defenders are in the right spot. He's also the sole form of communication from the coaches to the players. He's crucial, not only on the sideline for the players, but also for the coaches. They have developed a skill of communication. They've also developed a skill of caring for others, which is something that not everyone has these days. They care for how the special forces feel, even though they might not get in the whole game. They care about how the D-poles feel in their injury. They check up on them. They care about others who are scoring, the attackmen. Now, indeed, in this one example, it is one player. That would be the organic intellectual. And I'm arguing that the community itself is creating organic intellectuals. And I say they still are, because every single player on the sideline and every single player in that field respects the bench captain. Every single freshman at one point thinks, I want to be the bench captain. They might not be the fastest, they might not be the strongest, and they might not be the biggest. And even if they are, they still respect the attitude and moral character that bench captain has. It is something that we can all aspire to and strive to have. And in some sense, we do reach it by our senior year. And that is why I think that Marquette High creates in its players organic intellectuals.
So, see you later, broski.